one place for forever. Well, that will be you going against their ethnic identity.
Yeah. And that is a funny thing because, when you have to look at like national planning,
Yeah.
and that's one of the things when I always reference your hometown, Divundu.
Yeah.
When Divundu got converted, got its status as a town, you've started seeing first public service investments taking place. Police station was built, a clinic or public health facility was built. Then a shop shows up. A post office would have been built because that's the piece of infrastructure that grants are now being distributed through. If you guys did not know this, now you do. Then suddenly you see that a telecommunications operator starts putting up a communication tower in the vicinity. These are all the things that the local school kids go and sing and dance for, and then have a little bit of a walkabout in their school uniforms during normal school hours.
Yeah.
I'm saying that sarcastically because many of us experienced that in Namibia.
Oh, that was my favorite.
Okay, Helmut was also a teacher, so he was definitely part of the guilty squad who said yes to us kids having to go and sing and dance. But we much of us probably
The one that's gonna train you how to sing.
Now, that's what you basically see. It's a settlement being declared. What is a bit difficult, because if you look up the Ovatwe and the Ovashimba and the San. Okay, Helmut, let me tell you another great story. Another story time situation. One of my siblings at one stage worked with an NGO, and part of the NGO's outreach programs was trying to also, reach out to some of these marginalized groups, and one of them was a San group.
Yeah.
They're on the other side of Otjiwarongo, so it's between Otjiwarongo and on the way to Tsumeb and Grootfontein. Because Tsumeb was on the other side of Grootfontein.
Yeah.
But this is literally between Otjiwarongo and those two towns, in that vicinity there. And a sibling of mine organized through a local contact. But before we continue, we'll quickly take a short ad break, guys.
USave's customers love combos, right? Well, for just 589 Namibian dollars, you can get 10 kilogram Champion Super Maize Meal, 10 kilograms of Bokomo Fat Cooked Flour, 10 kilograms of Marathon of brown or white sugar, 5 kilos of nice rice, plus 1 kilo of Grande pasta. That's just 589 Namibian dollars for 5 essential products. The ShopRite Group buys bulk, so you can save. Yes, we all save at USave.
Welcome back and welcoming David. 15 minutes into the hour of 6, you're listening to Home Run on Eagle FM. Dwight.
Yeah. So when you've got to look at these pieces of infrastructure being installed, that means people are going to grow up there. People are going to live there. Things become predictable. This is what economic planning is about.
It's predictability.
Yeah. But when you go just to a basic Google search of the Ovatwe, of the Ovashimba, and even the San, the first thing that will be said is there will be a word, a catching phrase there. Nomadic is the first thing, which comes to the story that I just left off before the ad break. So this sibling of mine organized to do an interview with a community of San ladies in a specific. No, okay. The community is not just women, but it was supposed to be there was at one stage
the engagement was supposed to be only for women or something.
Yeah, but it was to interview for there was a specific like NGO that wrote a magazine on women's affairs. So that was supposed to be the meeting. Then before my sibling could actually depart and go and meet these people, because they had to organize a specific time and date, and then my sibling would drive from Windhoek all the way to there and meet these people, interview them, speak to them, through a translator. So all these logistics was sorted out already. A day before departing, a phone call comes through. No, sorry, you can't come anymore because the community packed up in the middle of the night. They informed us last night that they have to go to a funeral which is on the other side of, where did they walk to? On the other side of Omaruru or Otavi? No? On the other side, it's like a direct opposite. If you pull a line between
Where they were supposed to meet.
Potchefstroom and Keetmanshoop, Potchefstroom and Grootfontein and Tsumeb,
Yeah.
and you pull a line directly, it would take you way past even Omaruru or Ochu.
Yeah, that's far.
So it was like in a direct line like that. And these people just packed up in the middle of the night and just walked. Immediately, just packed up and walked. Now, how are you going to bring services, Helmut, to people if you're a private farm owner who walks through your farm in the middle of the night? You know that they do this.
Yeah.
It's not criminal. It's criminal because you have private land, but technically you can't do anything to them because in the ancestral lands discussion of things, they are the sort of like basically first inhabitants of everything here. Now, how do we balance a discussion of saying, how do we balance a discussion of saying, listen, if you bring services to a marginalized group in Namibia, how do you manage bringing the services? How do you make things predictable for everybody's life to move forward? Because Namibia's whole thing, if you start from NDP6 or even from Vision 2030, Namibia's whole agenda is about modernizing and bringing improved service delivery to everybody so that all of us have better quality of lives. The dimension from this is literally one of looking at a discussion for the listener that told my supervisor that I sound xenophobic. The unfortunate thing is Namibia will defend that particular status. I'm using that's a legal basis for Namibia because Namibia will look after everybody in this border because we are technically a minority versus all other countries, meaning we don't have such large population groups. I'll give an example. There's 3 million. There is about, let's say, 10 million coloureds in South Africa. Just of South Africa's demographics. 10 million people. Coloureds. There's 10 million white people in South Africa. English and Afrikaans speaking. Namibia's largest group is the Awambo groups. 1 million. No? 1.5 million. 1.5 million. That is a minority in terms of South Africa's statistics. And even if you factor that into Angola, there's a larger group in Angola. Which technically would mean that even the Awamba would be a minority in Angola.
No, I hear you.
Welcome in, David, guys. We welcome David on the
Thank you.
stream.
This is my show also. You don't need to welcome me anymore.
No, there are just 3 million of us on a large portion of land mass.
But we are interconnected with all our neighbors.
But on the population thing, I would like to believe we are working on that.
But Namibia is a very interesting case study, especially when you look at the land and also the numbers of people within Namibia. If you compare, I was shocked to realize that Namibia, in terms of geographical area, is almost the same as Nigeria. Then it's shocking.
By land mass.
By land.
Is huge.
It's huge.
Yeah.
But when you're looking at that, it's let us ask a lot of questions, especially regarding the issue of being marginalized. I made a joke to say when you speak about where we are now, looking at our status of income inequality, I think 80% of us are we not marginalized. Looking at just a joke to throw around.
No, it's not a joke.
No, it's a genuine question, and you're not the first one to ask that question actually.
And the other thing that we also need to look at is that do we have a long-term plan on how to deal with this issue of marginalized community? Do we have a long-term plan to say by 2035, for example, we want to reach this level?
We have all achieved
achieve this level. And one thing that we must always speak is that yes, we understand that people did not get an opportunity. Some people were oppressed. Some people, or majority of them, they lost their land. Some they are in corridors of farms. But we have a long-term plan to say, apart from now healing the wounds of colonialism, are we coming to the point where we are saying this we want to reach it? It's the same thing with, when you look at social grant, for example, the basic initiative of a social grant was not necessarily to keep on, being there.
Yeah.
It is like subsidization. To say you are in trouble, let us giving you this based on the economy where you are.
Yeah.
But you have a long-term plan on addressing the issue of marginalized community. And we look at all other policies also to say, now that is incorporated in various government programs, where do we draw the line between somebody who is marginalized and responsible, and somebody who is marginalized and does not want to follow the laws? Because, if you look at it very well, it starts being looking like a privilege, because...
Well, to be marginalized doesn't mean you don't want to follow the law.
No, there were case studies where people are saying certain people were given certain projects, certain people were given government jobs just through that process, but they end up really
of
not...
the marginalization process.
They end up using that ticket to say, no, I can still come back and go to government because I am special. But we also need to look at the aspect of competency. If we look at that, the impact, what we have done, it's the same thing that we need to ask about gender equality.
Yeah.
Currently, as you are speaking, if you compare the issue of gender equality, let's take Namibian Parliament.
Yeah.
It's almost 50-50.
Yeah.
Look at cabinet institutions of the state, everything. You look at corporate institution, but you also have to come to the question of to say, apart from incorporating these people, what is the contribution of those who are incorporated to the success of state institutions? Because just because you studied IT, and people should not get me wrongly. Just because you studied IT,
don't worry, your future is coming.
No. I want to be. I want to be understood very well.
Yeah.
Just because you studied IT, and you went to the interview of a highly technical position, and you are marginalized, then people take you because you
on that account.
You be on that account.
Yeah.
But did you put more effort to contribute, or you are just there because of being marginalized? And these are the questions that we need to ask to say, if you have to be rational, impact and it matters.
Yeah.
To say, if you have a parliament which is almost 50-50 or 50-50,
In terms of gender
what is the contribution of Zembra style in the Namibian development?
Zebra style.
And did we accommodate those who are competent, or somebody was just put there because a person is a woman? Our president made a very interesting statement to say, no, don't say because I'm a woman, I was elected because I'm competent. That's where we have to get into to say, yes, we understand that a lot of people did not start at the same note, but they also need to put more effort.
Look, that's a very interesting concept, because if you look at it, especially from a political, power structure that you just used as an example, one thing that you see is that for a very long time, especially if you just use, the current, adopted idea of democracy as we practice it. But before this idea was adopted, we had, monarchies, and in under monarchies, it was stupidly believed that if you are a man, just on account that you are a man, you will naturally make a good leader. Well, congratulations. We have one heck of a list of dictators. And clearly that whole point of view that was based on the fact that someone was wearing a trouser, not what was in their head. They were giantly mistaken. So I feel like the point you made in reference to to gender equality is that we don't want to to just make the same mistakes under a different gender of assuming that just because you're a woman you must make an excellent leader. No, and again, one thing that you find interesting, especially in in the you can just go as far as the 1930s in places like Western, in the Western world. There was a time, believe it or not, where they believed that if you're a woman, you can't be an engineer. And then they just realized that you can be a guy and be terrible at math. You are looking at one. But the thing is, if you but the thing is, we are way past that whole idea of just assuming that just because of someone is of of particular race, or someone is of a particular gender, that they are capable of doing specific things just on account of their race or their gender. Take apartheid South Africa, for example. Isn't that the reason why a lot of non-white were not afforded education higher than as high as their white counterparts, because of the whole the whole dumb idea that if you are if you are a certain skin color, or if you have melanin, for example, you can't think certain past a certain threshold, which again was a dumb idea. So that means when you are looking, so that means the main requirement when it comes to all these things, if we want to get things right, is just think rationally. No. Which brings up now a whole interesting idea, which I don't want to say it. I'll just pass the ball to Dwight. Now, Mr. Links, when it comes to the way things are done in terms of affordability of opportunity, it turns out we're about to make a let them have cake type of leadership here. And the problem is, don't worry, that's not happening in Namibia. We are not inventing a guillotine. So the thing is, when it comes to preference, I don't want
to be anyone who's being guillotined. I don't want to be that guy.
So when it comes to to preferences, and this is something that you have that you see everywhere, and it's one of those things that we can all see. But I feel like we're not talking about it enough out of fear of political correctness, and that's because you have, you stand much, we are looking at things like, gender equality, disability, and especially for the most part, it's gender equality and disability. So now whether we like it or not, these two things are giving off, to use the Gen Z language, they're giving a preference vibe. So if I went, for example, to a job interview with someone who was, take for example, a woman or was disabled, and then I ended up losing, not getting the job, I'm most likely going to start saying things like, okay, you know what, I wasn't given that job because I'm a guy. And you know what?
And it is correct.
You remember that case that, the Namra case that we went through?
Yes.
Yeah. What did that lady claim? She was not given the job because out of a, because, and that's the beautiful part of being a Kavango. She claimed that she was, one of the reasons why she was not given the job is because she's a Kavango.
Even though she was shortlisted and interviewed, and she had the impression, because she was interviewed,
she had the impression
that she might be successful, and that's the reason why that particular sort of like investigation by the Ombudsman's report began. But Helmut, you are right. Specifically on the dimension, also looking at previously impacted groups specifically. Namibia's current, and you see this currently in job adverts. If you guys have ever seen that line at the bottom of an ad, disabled people and women and people from previously disadvantaged groups are encouraged to apply. That means
it's already giving preference vibes.
That means the HR practitioner will first look for those three categories in terms of looking through CVs for a job. Now, on this list, if you even look at this list, and I'm going to be brutally honest. I'm sorry, David. I'm going to be brutally honest.
No, you don't need to apologize, to be honest.
No, because it also factors into many of the youth that try to understand how does the selection process also happen. This is how it works. And since we are three men, it's a very easy example to make. But if there was a woman, she would have been before David. Then comes David, then comes Helmut, then comes Dwight.
Huh?
Yes. That would be the criteria. Helmut, it's a lovely thing. If you know someone who is an HR practitioner, or who currently is, but no longer it's a lovely thing. Because that is Namibia's technically affirmative action position. How it would be assessed would be woman, black specifically, and you must come from certain particular groups in Namibia, and it cascades like that. Woman, black, then David. Then would come a colored woman, a Nama woman between David and you. Then you, no, a Kavango woman, then you, then Dwight, then a white guy or a white woman after me.
I don't think there's a type of alcoholic beverage that will beat the confusion I have right now.
Like I said, it's a criteria.
No, it's correct.
These things that we don't see.
Yeah.
That we don't see. Ne? You don't see it. You see it in a job ad. But unless you don't speak to someone that works in HR about how does affirmative action actually work, whether it be private sector or whether it be in the public service sector. But a private sector person will tell you, but they will be shy to tell you. But it's like an unwritten contract law situation.
It's there.
Yeah.
But one thing that you need to look at is that when you do not have enough opportunities, when you are bringing up that aspect of affirmative action, it's another way. It's a good policy on its from its initiation to make sure that you bring those who were not part of the system into the system. But when you are looking at it in a situation where we are now, just like what I indicated, that now everybody is marginalized. You have, let me give you an example. Education students, they applied for 3 posts. Then 2,000 of them are shortlisted.
That was
That's not a short list.
That
That's
was
the population.
What was that region? Oshana region.
Yeah, I think it's
primary
Oshana. Now.
How many positions?
2,200 showed up.
Yeah, but you know what is interesting?
2,200. Sorry. 2,200 were invited to the interviews for 3 positions.
What is interesting is that for you to navigate through
3 vacancies, Dwight. 3 vacancies.
No, in some occasion it's even
Well, Daddy mind.
It's even one.
Go on.
Now the thing that you want to ask is that in a situation that you have already criteria of where within the unequal, you have the marginalized.
Yeah.
Then within the marginalized, they are also competing. Do you understand that if you are a woman and you are disabled, but you have a certain skills, then you are ahead than somebody who is marginalized and is a man.
Yeah.
Just to give you that. But within the broader context, you are in the context of an unequal society in an informal sector. That's how intensive the competition is. Now it's going to be very difficult to say, yes, having a policy is good, but do you have measures that making sure that the environment is opening up? Because it's going to be tough moving forward. It's the same. It's almost the same example which I gave to say, let us not cry to say somebody is corrupt and is doing this and this and this. Just to give an example to say, when corruption reaches to the highest level, even the corrupt themselves, they are going to fight themselves. Do you understand what I mean? But just to give an example to say, in a society where we are one of the highest income unequal country in the world, the marginalized, we also have the marginalized within the marginalized community. And the other thing also, just to end into that, let's look at impact and competency. I have a friend of mine is somebody who is living with albinism. It's a very good friend of mine. We make jokes with him. But one thing that I always do, because he's my friend, I say when people come here and you are not behaving very well, they will think I'm mistreating you because of your condition. But sometimes you are just not growing. Or sometimes you are just incompetent. I look at the incompetence part. And they like it because when you are in that environment...
How do you call a friend incompetent?
No, he's my friend. I go, so you maybe you are just incompetent at some level. But not because I'm discriminating you. Is what I said. But let us look at now at the impact to say, apart from that, people should also be given an opportunity to say, no, we brought you into this ministry. You are a woman, or you are previously disadvantaged, but work hard. This is not a ticket of freedom, because there are also others that you need to uplift from poverty. Because you find somebody, I've seen it, I have a lot of friends who are cops. I'm hoping they are not watching. But you know what is interesting? You find out that there are those really who are good at their work, but there are those who are just on the ticket. You can go to a ministry, then you find somebody to say, okay, this one was incorporated because of that, but the person is just not putting effort, and that is putting us down. To say, let us address the personality, not to the background. Because if we don't go to that extent, then that policy will be failing.
Yeah,
Will continue to fail.
Yeah.
Because if somebody is marginalized and given an opportunity and is not taking responsibility, or you are coming to work drunk, or you are disorganized in the street and all these things, just because you have that ticket, you are not really going to be touched. That is not going to take us anywhere. To say, first, you are a Namibian. Let's look at, yes, we incorporate you, but at least push.
David, you even go into like very everyday things, character. Let's look at on the local authorities.
Yeah.
There's a serious threat
Yeah.
of, and I'll call it what it is, theft
Yeah.
in the local authorities.
Yeah.
That's happening in Parliament.
No. Leave the parliament. Parliament is here in Windhoek. We all watch each other in Windhoek.
And Valvis.
But if you go to the local authorities outside of Windhoek, you speak to community members in those communities. You will hear how the great level of distrust they have for local council in their town. And sometimes you hear that it's basic things that in some cases it's not even like ACC would step in, and which is a highly publicized thing. It's scenarios like they get caught for stealing money from the cashier or from the financing, and the person has nothing to do with cash and money for some reason. I'm bringing up this example because I lived in that town, Rehoboth, for 7 or 8 years, and we didn't know in terms of like critical thinking, or I didn't know as a kid back then. If someone gives you a very dubious and fishy example like, no, the system is off. Yeah, back in the 90s, you could say systems are off. Today, system integrity is the backbone for your organization to function.
Yeah.
So if a cashier tells you, I have to write out manual receipts for you, then technically you could think of, okay, it's maybe the IT department has to back up or has to do some backup or maintenance issues.
More like, maintenance.
And you take it at face value. But when you get a receipt or an account from the local council saying you owe money for the previous month, but you got a receipt that you paid, then your distrust levels immediately jump up because you'll accuse the cashier. Now my sister who lives now in Rehoboth loves telling me all these lovely stories of Rehoboth.
Yeah.
How on the Facebook page of the town, the people out each other. Yeah, it's Helmut. I paid my water and electricity with Helmut. It's Helmut's fault. And then Helmut comes in response because he works for the town council, going like, "Asi Eki, it's not me. It's not. It's not true."
No, it's social media. Social media.
So you going with like everyday things that we would know, like maybe someone has got problems and they are alcoholic, or they would probably have like an untidy, unhygienic facade. Those are things that you can immediately manage as a supervisor in a department. But things like theft, guys, there's a major thing like in African development, the African development framework, where we Africans don't address the discussion of our sticky fingers.
Okay.
And this is across the board. It doesn't matter what skin color you are in Namibia.
You remember the dialogue expose that was done?
Which one?
The Peter Thiel and his secret cabal.
The thing that I still don't want to read. I'm so afraid of reading. Do you know there's a guy that even did one of the economics YouTube channels that I follow?
Yeah.
How Economics Explained is the guy. He's an Australian guy. He even did a video specifically on which says, what does Peter Thiel want? Because you could even see that this cascaded through to him, and he was like, what do these guys want to do with the world?
No, it's look, the biggest look, that's a good question, because what does someone want? What they were going to discuss is is irrelevant, but the problem is you have someone who is a founder and actually in charge of one of the biggest tech companies on the planet.
Yeah.
And now in the having some kind of secret backroom type of bros discussion.
With secret society
engagements. With people that are supposed to be regulating his technology.
Yeah.
So now that for me is the biggest fear in relations to technological adoption, because the person that's building the technology and the person that's supposed to be regulating the technology have secret society, some kind of broad type of annual discussions talking about just a bunch of random things like how to survive World War III, and what is your sex life, which is weird for a bunch of dudes.
No, it's a weird conversation.
Very weird one.
It was even super weird as a high school teenager.
Yeah, and
Because then you would even look at the guy like, what are you doing?
Yeah, and the person who is chairing the whole collabo runs one of the biggest Christian community, one of the biggest Christian community in the Western world.
Yeah.
So, the guy that's telling others to wait until they get married is talking about how is your sex life.
Trying to counsel you on your on your pillow
I
affairs.
mean, that's really dumb. But look, the thing is, the point is, addressing the elephant in the room. I don't think we are very good at that as a species. So I think we would rather beat around the bush than talk about what is at the table, because now
I think it's us Africans, not humanity.
Humanity. The reason why I'm bringing up dialogue, it's because take for example, the Strait of Hormuz is an excellent example. We know what's the solution.
Just stop shooting at each
Just stop shooting at each other. Would they stop? No.
Would Donald Trump stop?
Donald Trump. What's my November main example? I have my hand so far up I'm moving his lips. Look, that's.
Yeah.
Look. The thing is.
Why did you reference that movie?
No, look. The thing is. Maybe I have read a lot of Yuval Noah Harari's books. One of them being, Homo Deus, the Israeli historian.
Yeah.
When he's pointing out, now he's a historian and a philosopher. He's just looking at how power structures work. The real power, and this is where the more you read into power, the more it sounds like you're a conspiracy theorist. Now this is a historian and a philosopher who is writing that the real, if you want to understand power, think beyond politics.
Power is not what you see.
Think beyond politics. So now a large number of high-class individuals that are so obsessed with power in its for the most part, despotic form. The main thing they like to do is divide the people on the ground. They divide them on everything. Divide them on sexual orientation, skin color, race, you name it. Because if they are divided, they are not going to to coup your behind out of power.
I hear you.
And now, again, the elephant in the room in relations to the Strait of Hormuz is stop bombing each other. The market will just stabilize, and we're all good. But they are not doing that.
And also stop.
Do you need toiletries and household cleaners? You won't get it cheaper than at USave up to the 7th of June. Get 2 50mm jars of Vaseline for only 25 Namibian dollars. Smell fresh with Playboy Roll-On deodorant for just 18.99 Namibian dollars. Get 2 kilograms of Surf's hand washing powder for just 49.99 Namibian dollars. Get 750 milliliter Sunlight dishwashing liquid for 28.99 Namibian dollars. And get 2 boxes of Cares Maxi sanitary pads for only 12.99 Namibian dollars. USave, where else?
Welcome back. So now the point I made earlier is for me defending my fellow black people, including a bunch of dictators. You are also included in that. I think what's the I want to be politically correct as possible. Okay, you know what? The stupidity in political decision making that you witness is I think it's one of those things that come with people being drunk on power, because look, we are fighting to open a strait that was open before the war started.
Okay, it's not us fighting.
No, it's not us.
We are praying and hoping as Africans.
You think I want to pay $15 for a taxi?
But we think one thing that you stated, especially Africa, in addressing the elephant in the room. You don't need to discuss with mouses or discuss with ground squirrel. The elephant is still standing there. When you address it, you deal with the main problem. Is that we know exactly what we need to do. We know who is moving things. We know what we are not able to do. But we are trying to be very, 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 not very diplomatic. We understand how diplomacy is working. But you are trying to not move things. You know, when I listen today from the speech of the former minister of mines, for example. No, it let me think to say, when people leave power, they start to have more clarity? Or is it because you don't have anybody to answer to?
It's the second one. It's the second one.
Or maybe there's more clarity in that speech. I read it, I think, 3 times.
Yeah.
There's more clarity, and if you compare...
Oh, you read it? I watched it. I watched it. Yeah, he was the first one to speak, right?
Yeah, he was the first one to speak. And there's more clarity compared to what we've been doing around. Because if you go back, just not 20 years ago, maybe 17 years ago, when he was a governor of Bank of Namibia, he was in a different position. Very corporate, speaking on the system, and deep down in a corporate language engagement.
Yeah.
But when you are outside and you are citizens, and I think we should listen to these people. It's the same thing I'm always telling people to say. A retired politician will give you a clear picture. It's the same thing that somebody who is on his last term or has nothing to lose will give you more picture than somebody who is within the system.
Yeah.
Because if we can just listen to what he has said, then we can learn a lot. Because with him, he gave an analysis and a comparison between what the banks need to do, what companies need to do, and what it means when that is not done.
My favorite part is for politicians. This is not the time for catchphrases. I was like, mame.
No, he's my guy.
The catchphrases.
No, but you guys are right, because even in the UK sense, even in the US American sense, what was the guy that was Biden's press person? That Stephen, he's also a Stephen.
Yes, it's something. I'm thinking about Stephen Miller.
Yeah, because I keep thinking of Miller.
Yeah, I'm thinking about.
But it
Miller.
looks similar to Miller.
The one that appeared on on a podcast just shortly after leaving
and
the
remember
office.
that story where he was asked, why did you guys say this? But now and then he says, hey, listen, if you're in a job, you have to speak this. You have to speak this lingo.
Look,
as opposed to what your heart and your mind tells you.
Look, when he was representing the U.S. government, which is totally understandable. When he was representing the U.S. government, they kept asking him, "Is Israel committing war crimes?" And he kept saying no. But after leaving the office, he said, that's when you have this complete opposite with regards to what he's saying, that it's possible. Now the question I was asked, well, you couldn't say that when you were at the podium. I was like, no.
But you know, the other thing that they should do, especially people with power, you can be politically correct in front of the public.
And lose your salary?
But no. I want to make a point. You can be politically correct, like
economically marginalize yourself.
Not helping.
Not to the extent of marginalizing yourself economically, and societally. No, politically correct in terms of diplomacy. There is always this phase because you have a very strong capitalist, system that is budget 20 times or 500 times than your country. Then you're into business with these people. You also don't want to chase them away, but at least move things. If that office was, say, today, was already done 5 years ago, we wouldn't be here. Just to say, financial sector, open up. If you are not able to fund the informal sector already now, how are you going to fund the businesses that are going to operate in the oil and gas industry? If it's already difficult now, within looking at the financial inclusion, looking at upgrading smaller businesses that have been around. Because if you go back to 10 years ago, ask yourself a question to say, how many SMEs in Namibia were upgraded to the next level? And how many of them become regional cooperation, not even multinational cooperation? Then you realize
just into SADC.
Yeah, just into SADC.
I can only think of one company.
Then if you think of one, we have none. Yeah, because if you have that track record, maybe something has been done. Just to say, but today to say the financial sector must open up, fund, but don't fund irresponsibly. That is exactly what they say. To say, I'm not saying we should dictate what they need to do, but they have to be part of the game. Otherwise, we are going to be watching through the window when the oil tanks are going. And there's nothing that you can do.
Well, we technically won't be able to see them.
No. Even if you look at them, you will see that these are coming from Namibia, but you cannot do anything because your policies are not in order. your financial sector is very small.
Your laws are not in order.
Your investment, even your upfront, your biggest investment is 10%, and you can't get anything from the food chain. From that value chain, there's this new word that is coming out. We are going to benefit from a value chain, but there's always somebody who's
they love throwing distribution channel management terminologies in.
We are going to benefit from a value chain.
Logistics management.
But how can you benefit from a value chain if the FDI for 2025, even for this year, which made us number one in Africa again, is that it's static to say the investment in Namibia are going to be above $2 billion. Whose money is that?
Okay, here's the thing.
Until 2030, it's going to be above $2 billion dollars.
So that means for every year, there's going to be continuous $2 billion investments into
if I was a witch, I would have witched. I would have witched whoever is doing this FDI measurements. Look, one thing, I think one thing that they are leaving out, these guys that are measuring all this kind of, economic potential, and in relations to countries like Namibia, they're just looking at things like your FDI or your GDP and all that, and saying, you know what, this country is doing well. You all are forgetting one thing. We are very unequal. That means,
we are.
Yes, the resources, now, those numbers are obviously showing one very painful reality. The resources is there. We're just terrible at sharing the resources.
No, that's why I still believe we need to have a dole, a basic income grant.
You know what that means?
Yeah.
Which
is basically that thing that David said. What was that thing you mentioned? The conditional grants? But it shouldn't be there like permanently. It should be there, David, because let's say, for example, you go to work, your salary is your salary. But you know, every once in a year, just for you being a Namibian, you get a cash payment.
Yeah, but you know,
we must be like
I think one thing that
like the Arabs,
our ancestors failed us. They failed to understand the capitalist system before it came. They failed to understand how the finance is working. That's one thing that I think we should forgive them in the future, not understanding how the capitalism system is working.
I forgave them a long time. I think I forgave them a long time ago because systems like that is one of those things that were basically cordoned off in terms of education, because you needed to reach a certain level of education for you to understand the concept that makes the whole system run. And they were not afforded that possibility. And now, fast forward to post-independence, we got all the wrong PhDs that do not have employment opportunities in Africa, and now we are being interviewed on African affairs out of Berlin.
I hear you. If you just to support your point, to say we got all the PhDs that they only depend on the system that they cannot innovate on their own. Is the example I gave again of Zimbabwe, to say when you hit the capitalist system, you just hit the capitalist system to say, no, I'm not going to give you money, I'm going to sanction you. All these academically trained people, they will run away to the system itself so that they can benefit to the system. Because intellectual jump into the plane the first time they see that the economy is not working. But just to make
they're the first ones that leave.
They are the first ones that leave. But just to put it in short, is that to say, where we are going, the discussions must not be every day. Let us look at the impact. If you look at the discussion, we just become so fancy. This thing have been there to say it cannot be correct. This inequality is going to swallow all of us, because no one is safe. Even the rich of the richest, if the gap of inequality become wider, you don't need to be an economist to know. To say by nature people will try to survive. Then even the fight will start within the marginalized.
No, but that had begun. That scenario did happen after COVID. There was not after COVID, sorry. Just before COVID in 2019. The drought was so severe, David. People in Kommersdal and Rocky Crest, their homes were being broken into. because people just wanted to eat.
Even the investigator, when it's coming to investigate, will also take something home.
Yeah.
Because the system itself.
They didn't steal anything
Yeah.
of value.
Yeah.
They just wanted
Yeah.
the one lady explained to me. The people
Yeah.
just wanted food.
Yeah.
That's how hungry people were.
Yeah.
And we responded a whole 2 years later with the cash grant. What's that thing? The food bank system.
Yeah, the food bank.
Yeah.
No, the question is that is the same thing that we have spoken about, to say continue giving a fish rather than teaching a person how to fish. You can give a lot of food
Yeah,
as
because
we
if
want.
climate change hits the river and the fish resource dries up, now what must you do now?
No, it's a good analysis. But the question is that will they open up so that we can accommodate everybody? Because ask yourself now a question to say, how can a marginalized person in or poor deep down the mountains going to benefit from oil and gas in Namibia? There is a very long way for that person to get that you know,
for
benefit.
the money to trickle down from
Yeah.
your claim.
Not even even a sustainable business in oil and gas. That is not even a dream, because the dream of this person is survival for now.
Yeah.
To say, how can a marginalized person in Maheke, in Kavango, in Zambezi, in Msati,
In
the
Oshana.
Ovatwe, and any other person
Yeah.
can benefit from oil and gas? Because if the successful business people in Namibia are already struggling to benefit from oil and gas,
What guarantee do you as the ordinary person have
Yeah.
to derive a
no, they are not. Even if you look at the conference, we are trying our best. We are not. We don't have a key player. Maybe Kati, I don't know. maybe him is maybe is a student.
Yeah.
Maybe Knowledge Kati is a student.
Yeah.
Other than
Well-
that, I don't know who is really there.
Well, to
Apart
be
from
fair-
but yeah, let's see.
Well, to
Yeah.
be fair,
Yeah.
the man's name is Knowledge, so be careful of the give your kids the right names. And
Yeah.
we're-
Yeah.
He does have a lot of knowledge about
yeah.
the sector.
yeah.
Just
Anyway.
to be fair.
No, somebody was I was praising him again, but let's look at the
I don't want to push it to the point where I have an invoice for Monica. So we just have a few seconds left to saying goodbye. So for me, I'm gonna say happy breastfeeding week, people, and goodbye.
What? Is that what we're leaving with, David?
Let's focus, colleagues. Focus.
My side. Let's see each other again, same time, same place.
Stash your cash.
Don't break the bank. Stash your cash with WB.